Hi everyone, welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today is a very special video because I am impromptu filming on my birthday. I actually didn't have any plans today to film on my birthday, no less, but here we are. Hey, another year down. I have a lot to talk about. Just updates on the channel, on life, and basically just what I learned in my 31 years on this planet. And while I'm gonna be chatting away, I have a couple plants that I would like to convert from pond/leca to my anthurium mix that I've been using, and they're pretty big plants, so I have two. We'll just see how much we can get accomplished in the time that we have together. So grab a drink, grab a plant that you want to repot. The only order of housekeeping that I am going to talk about before we dive into the repot is I want to thank everyone who voted in the poll that I left a few weeks ago now. I just asked what you guys would like to see, and the majority of people answered my plant decor projects. So that is actually, fingers crossed, the next thing that I'm gonna film and that you will hopefully see coming up. And the number two thing that you guys said that you wanted to see is actually these types of videos, which is just chatty plant repots where I talk about life and stuff. And thank you guys so much for putting that as number two, because I really thought at this point you guys would be tired of them, just because I've done so many of these this year. Like, don't get me wrong, I love filming them 100%. I love interacting with you guys and just having a good old time, but I just kind of thought you guys would eventually burn out on them, so thank you for not doing that. And let's just start with the repot and introduce the first plant that we're gonna be repotting today. She is a big one. This is the Equigenera Crystal Sky, which I believe is a crystal linum crossed with the Bessie. I think. I always get the direction of those mixed up, but she is a beast. She's really big, and I thought I was gonna keep her here forever because it is like a huge container. This is actually a trash can, but I just kind of want to get it into my new anthurium substrate. I have been letting this one dry out a little bit too much, as you can see by the crisping of the leaves. And yeah, this is what we're gonna be working on, so I think this will take a lot of our time. This is the newest leaf that she's given me, which is very stunning. You can see a lot of the best in it, and she actually pupped, so I want to also get the pup out of here. So first order of business is taking out the tag so I don't lose it. And then the next one is lifting her out and just seeing what's happening here. I did notice a couple, oh, you guys can't see anything. I did notice a couple of rotty roots at the bottom, so we'll address that. And I'm just gonna empty it out. I'll probably cut this part out since it's gonna be loud. Holy moly, that is a lot of leca. I think I'm just gonna actually dump the leca into the bucket here. Let's just keep dumping more out. Ooh, okay, I got it. Got the basket free. I think this is like a 10-inch net pot I used, and the roots look good. They do. And it's not like this plant was like hating its life necessarily in this substrate. I just thought that what I had it in was just a little bit too big and bulky, so I kind of want to get it into something different. Let me get rid of all of this leca. Let's check out the root situation. Looks pretty good. You can definitely see some dry rot in there. I think I've showed this a lot before, but I still get questions on it from time to time. You can tell it's dry rot because it literally looks like the outer part of the root just, again, dried out and rotted away. It's almost like a casing. And do you see how you can just like peel it off and you can see that as like a casing? It's like super dry. So that's how you know, because if it is the other type of rot, that you would not be able to do. It would just be mush. That was just dry rot, which I knew was happening. I knew I was keeping this plant dry for too long. So hopefully it'll like its life in the new mix that I'll give it. But I'm just gonna get the last bit of leca out of here. While I do that, I do want to say that I did buy some plants for my birthday. I did treat myself pretty much all of April. I kind of like loosened the reins that I had on me in terms of really cutting down on how many plants that I was buying this year. It's just knowing that I have so many projects in the works that are going to require me to kind of move my plants around and more space to showcase my plants. I thought that, you know, now is a good time to kind of see what kind of plants are out there and see if anything speaks to me. Yeah, I definitely did get some plants, and I do plan to show them all to you. It could be a haul because I did film an unboxing on one of the really exciting plants that I got. I also did try to get larger plants, which is a thing that I normally don't do, but I had an image in my head of like where these plants were gonna go downstairs, more showpieces, you know. I will definitely stop buying plants in May. I kind of let myself have my fun in April, and then now I'm like, we need to rein it back in. Also, I wanted to update you guys on the trip that we took with Luca. I have so many cute photos of him that I want to share with you guys. We went up to Bass Lake and to Yosemite for 3 nights, and it was just perfect. The Airbnb was really nice. He got a lot of area to run around in. I think this is about as good as we're gonna get it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just kind of wanted the majority of the last substrate out. Back to the lake. We got a life jacket for him, and he was adorable in it. We didn't know if he was going to go into the lake or not, since we've only had that pond experience with him, and thank God he got into the water. He had such a blast. He was chasing the ducks and the geese, okay, to be fair, in the lake, but he just had such a good time running around, and he did swim for very short bursts. I still think he doesn't really trust the process very much. Like, he doesn't trust the life jacket or the fact when his feet don't touch the ground anymore, but he did do it here and there. He had a blast. I can say now that I think he's a water dog. I think we've kind of overcome his fear of getting in the water, which hopefully will help with the grooming. He is not the best dog to groom, but hopefully all this exposure to the water will kind of at one day get him more comfortable with the grooming process. Overall, such a beautiful area too. It was so cloudy when we went and really cold, so we had plans to rent a boat, but it was so cold that we decided that was not going to work out at all, and so we canceled the boat and we ended up going up to Yosemite, and that was my first time going to Yosemite, and it was gorgeous this time of year. The waterfalls were like in full force. It was so beautiful. I really had a good trip with the whole family. Okay, so I teased out the little offset, and it's actually real cute. Camera's not focusing. Look how cute this offset is. It's a little bit soft, so you can see some of the emergent qualities of the best coming through, but yeah, it's got a lot of good roots, so I will just pot this one up later. And then this is the root system that we're working with here, which isn't overly huge. I really thought I might have to chop this plant, but I think not. I think maybe, I don't, hold on. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, can we? Yeah, let's do a little bit of root trimming. So if this is not your favorite activity, then I would suggest you to look away. Look away now. Let's just make the root system a little bit smaller so it has a bit more room. I'm gonna mainly keep all of the nice roots. I'm just gonna cut some of the ones in the middle that don't look the bestest. This root bunch here, just cut that away. There we go. That's a good chunk off. That's looking better. And then I'm just gonna cut this part that rotted off. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. Let's situate the plant in here. I'm just gonna bring my mix over. We got this mix right here. I also want to talk about how Cody and I have been watching some absolute bangers when it comes to TV shows. We have been so blessed with the quality of content on our television of late. We saw that TV show that everyone and their mom was talking about, which was Adolescence. So good. If you haven't seen it, it is 100% worth a watch. It was truly like one of the best pieces of television that I've seen in a while. And the fact that they filmed the whole thing in one shot is just absolutely insane, and all of the actors are so talented, especially that kid and him not acting ever before that point. The concept might seem overplayed and tired, but the way that they did it was so new and refreshing. Probably the episode with the therapist was my favorite because I love that actress, but they both did such a good job in that one. I love that one. That show's been really good. We've also watched a couple episodes of the new Black Mirror that has been out. We saw the first one. I think it's called like Common People. That one was really good, quite heavy. So if you recently lost a loved one, I would definitely not watch that one. And then we kind of skipped a couple, and then we saw Eulogy. And I love Paul Giamatti, so when I saw he was in a Black Mirror, I'm like, we're watching that one. That one was very good as well. And then we went to like a season that Cody and I hadn't watched at all. I think it was season 4. That was kind of like the season where we dropped off of Black Mirror. There was an episode called Hang the DJ, which was about online dating and how an app can match you to another person perfectly. It kind of explored that concept. And that episode, I think out of all of the ones that I talked about, I love that one the most. That episode, Hang the DJ. Please watch that one if you like Black Mirror, because that one was really, really trippy. And The Last of Us is back, and oh my god, this season, it just is so good right off the bat. I saw episode 2, that was just the recent one that came out. I don't play the game, so I did not know what was going to happen. Cody did, because although he didn't play the game, he kind of knew aspects of the storyline of the game. So I was so blindsided at the end of episode 2. I have not felt just gut punched so hard in a TV show probably since Game of Thrones. Like literally my reaction to that episode was equivalent of those iconic Game of Thrones reactions. I was sitting there, tears were just streaming down my face. I wasn't even making a sound, just silent tears. And even after the episode was over, I'm just, hug me, comfort me. I need comfort in this moment, because what the actual happened. And I'm not gonna ruin it if you haven't seen it before or if you don't know what happens, but it's everywhere now. I'm surprised that if you don't know what happens, it hasn't been spoiled for you. I won't do that here, but I am saying that that episode destroyed me. At the same time, so glad that there are still shows being made that can elicit that much emotion out of a person. 10 out of 10, such a great show. And then the last TV show that I want to talk about, I was able to get a 3-month trial on Apple TV. So we were able to kind of see some of the shows on Apple TV. And we did start Ted Lasso because a lot of my coworkers were just constantly talking about that show. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll check it out. And I am so sorry to all the Ted Lasso fans out there, but it is just not something that Cody and I liked. We saw probably 6 episodes before we decided to call it quits, and I don't know, maybe it gets better. It was just not the kind of show that we normally gravitate towards, but hey, we gave it a good shot. But the TV show that we're watching now is called Severance, and I'm sure everyone has already seen it. Do not spoil the new season for me. I swear. It would be awful and mean, so please don't do that. I know everyone is like raving about the new season, but hey, we're on season 1, I think like episode 5 or 6, and so far all of the episodes have been so good. That kind of show is more on par of like what Cody and I like. So we've been loving that. If you have watched that show, let me know what you think about it without spoiling anything for me, please. Let's take a pause and just admire my repot. So this is what we got going. Crispy leaf, one of have the other one that's crisping, and then we got this one. A lot of roots on the sides that we can monitor, and yeah, this plant you will probably see when I do the next plant decor thing. I definitely want to show this one off. The next plant that I have is actually right behind me. So this is my, I believe it's a red crystal silver blush. I'm gonna have to go back in my purchase history and figure out what the exact cross of this one was. It has a pretty big offset too, and it's in the same substrate. So we're gonna do the same thing with this one that we did to the last one. Okay, let's just dump this one out. Same story with that one. A lot of dry rot in the middle, but the roots on the perimeters look pretty good. This is kind of like what I want to end this repot and chat with, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a long-winded discussion, but hey, if you've made it this far, then you kind of know what you're in for in terms of when we talk about life stuff. I started this thing when I turned 30 last year, where I wanted to write down what I learned for each year that I've been alive so far. So I made a list for 30, and for 31, I get to add, you know, one more thing that I learned for this last year. And so hopefully I can maybe keep it going, and each year I'll kind of be able to reflect and really, you know, try to dig deep and see like what this extra year of life has taught me. My birthday and probably New Year's time is the time that I really go inwards and just reflect on what has happened, what it has taught me, you know, all of those kinds of things. Before I kind of get into what I decided on, this last month has honestly been really difficult for me, and I haven't really had these kinds of encounters happen very often these last few years, and I'm kind of definitely struggling with how to cope. I think the first thing that happened, which is now a month has passed, it happened in the same week that I got food poisoning, and food poisoning, like I said, was not the worst thing that happened to me that week. This encounter with this person was definitely the worst thing that happened. And Cody was there. It had to do with dogs, you know, our dog and his dogs. And it was definitely that experience, because I had told this story to so many people and just their reactions to it. It's truly an insane, crazy story on what possessed this person to react the way that he did and to say and do the things he did. It was just such an outlier. We've met so many people with dogs that were like lovely, and you know, we've also had encounters with people that own dogs that were not so lovely, but this just blew all of those experiences out of the water, and I'm still frankly not over it, which is why I'm not going to share it. It is too good of a story to not share, because it's just a wild, wild ride of a story. Like, I can't even make it up if I tried. The thing that I go by in terms of sharing with other people is I share scars, not wounds, and this is still a wound to me. I'm still kind of processing and healing from it, but once enough time has passed and I feel that has scarred over, I will give you guys a full rundown of that story, because it's just, whew, oh my god. You never know like those types of people exist in the world until you literally have a chance encounter with them, and you're just like, what happened to you? And I have my own fair share of things, and I don't always react appropriately to things for sure, but I would never do that. I think the vast majority of people would not do what he did. But anyway, that happened, and literally 2 weeks later, I had drama go down in my job, and I hate drama, but I especially hate work drama, and this is still affecting me to this day. I just received some really bad news yesterday, literally the day before my birthday, and I'm just reeling on how I'm gonna deal with it. It's just really unfortunate, because I work in a state hospital, so state is just a different beast than private. There's just a lot of very old school mentality. We are going to follow these rules to a T, to the point where it doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of famously what our management has done to, well, now me, I now fall into that category, but just to a lot of the dietitians that have, a lot of them don't even work there anymore. They say that we're a team and we're there to help and support each other, but when it's time for your words to be backed up by actions, they always side against us. The benefit of the doubt doesn't exist, and I'm sorry for being vague. It's work drama, and I'm sure you guys have been through things that are comparable to it. You're asking your supervisor for help in a difficult issue, and instead of supporting you and making your job easier, they just decide to punch down. That's essentially what's going on at work right now, and I am trying desperately for that to not affect my personal life. Okay, I'm gonna empty all this leca over here. So this is what we're working with in terms of the root system. This actually has quite a bit of roots. I am gonna separate the offset to the best of my ability. Well, yeah, that's quite strange. The offset doesn't have any roots coming out of it yet, so I think I'm actually gonna have to leave it there for now. No biggie. I will kind of trim down a little bit of this root system. Let's do that, and I'm gonna also get rid of these guys over here. What I have decided as the thing that I learned, and you'll have to tell me if there's like a better way that I can say this, but essentially what I came up with is it's okay to be still. Like, it's okay to take a breather, to take a break, and not just always be on the go doing things, having goals and plans. Just take stock of where you are, what's going on, especially if you're in a good period of your life where there isn't really that many bad things happening. Work is going well, relationships are going well, you're healthy, you know, it's just all these moments that we take for granted, and it isn't until we're in a much worse place in our lives that we realize, oh, we should have enjoyed that part of our life a lot more. And the only way to get around that regret is to be present in those really good moments that a lot of people take for granted. Let's get this potted up. Actually, I'm gonna cut off a little bit more roots. This thing is pretty well rooted. I'm now so thankful that when I had peace at work, I really appreciated it in this last year. I was like, wow, how many people are super stressed out at their jobs and are overworked and everything like that, and I don't have any of that right now, you know? I'm just literally coasting on life, and I really enjoyed that in this last year, and so I'm glad that I was able to learn that, because now it's kind of paying off in a time in my life that is not peaceful, that is very tumultuous, because I have these moments to remember and just know that all this will pass one day. I will get that back. What is that saying? This too shall pass, that it's not going to last forever, you know, these kinds of things. Those moments that I was able to reflect in the moment and to be present, all of those good things, I'm able to not only cherish them as they're happening, but also cherish them when they're not happening. And I think that's just such a good coping mechanism that I am heavily relying on at this point in the year. So yes, that is what I learned. I can share like a couple of other things that I learned. I think I have my list here in front of me. I'm definitely not going to go over all of them because they're really, really long. What's a good one? Oh, enjoy your health while you have it, 100%. What is another one? Loving someone doesn't mean destroying yourself in the process. That was actually a lesson that I learned really early on with my high school relationship. Ooh, yeah, I learned a lot of lessons through that. Sometimes love hurts, but it should not hurt that much, okay? All right, it's a little crooked. I didn't mean to repot it crookedly. Let me try and see if I can maybe fix it. That fixed it a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit less crooked, but I think that's just kind of how the roots fit into the pot. But here we go. This is the red crystal silver blush, and then this is the crystal bess. So this video was more heavy on the chat than the repot, as we only have 2 in front of us, but they are big plants in my defense. I missed you guys. It's been like 3 weeks since I filmed. I think my Hoya video I filmed at the end of March. So it's been a long time since I've talked to you guys and got in front of the camera. I just kind of wanted to catch up, wanted to, I guess, trauma dump a little bit. Sorry for that. A tiny bit, but hopefully not too down and down. I kind of don't want to focus on everything that's going wrong. There's so much in my life, in your life, that's going right, and we got to focus on that to pull us through these times, okay? I'm doing it, which means that you can do it too. Let's do it together. We will come out on the other side. That is a promise. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.